G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. This is going to be our IAE 2950 CCU Chaining Guide. Osiris, now you do a lot of this, and you kind of started this with, I believe, Invictus this year.
It was a little before that. I started it with the Prowler Flight Ready sale because if you remember at that time, I was still very much in love with the idea of the Prowler. I still am, but as we've discovered subsequently, the in-game price of the Prowler is significantly lower than you'd expect based on the pledge price. So I wouldn't recommend pledging for that ship. But at any rate, when that ship came out, you remember that the Warbond, it was offered with a discounted Warbond CCU.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if that was the first or the second ship, but it was right around that time. And then Invictus and now the IAE have been good opportunities to continue in that trend. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about in today's episode.
It's like I planned the thumbnail around it, but I really didn't. But anyway. Yeah, so I guess we should kind of give a broad overview of what CCU chaining is. And my definition of it is basically stringing together discount Warbond CCUs together to get an overall discount. And you can get some really quite massive savings doing this. As we showed at the Invictus week, you were able to get a Banum Merchman for an incredibly cheap price after today, by the way, because the Merchman's just gone to $450 of $275, I think it was.
Thanks, CIG, by the way. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, that's crazy. That you could get, and that was the cheapest it had been since it was originally concepted way back in like 2012 or something like that.
Yeah, it was $250 at that time.
Yeah. So Osiris has got this document that he uses, so we'll flick over to that. And what are we looking at here? Are these all your discount CCUs, or all the ones?
So these are the CCU chains, and each column represents a different ship that I'm going for. You can see the top. So on the top left, we're looking at my Carrick CCU chain. And before we dive into it in too much detail, there are a couple of provisos I want to offer here. So one, the key with succeeding at the CCU chaining is don't apply any of the CCUs. All right. So I have in my hangar only one ship, which is the Mercury Star Runner. That's on my original pledge package. The rest of these are just lists and lists and lists of CCUs. And the reason is because...
Sorry to interrupt, but you said one ship, so you mean one ship that you can actually physically fly around, because you also got the Idris this week, yeah? So, yeah, okay, cool.
So I melted the Idris. So here's the thing.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the whole reason to do the CCU chaining is, here we'll reference Algrid, one of the Inforunners. As you know, Algrid is he's a whale. He has all the ships. Not all of us have all of the ships, and so we are constantly put in a situation where we have to triage our total pledge dollars among all of the ships that we want or might want based on shifting information that comes out or changing. Like, for example, the Mercury Star Runner came out very recently, and there's a lot of uproar over what people perceive as differences between the execution of that ship and the design of the ship. I think it's a great execution, don't get me wrong, but not everybody agrees with me. And so when you have finite pledge dollars, you're really trying to make the most of them. That's what the idea behind CCU chaining is. And in that vein, the whole thing with me getting the Idris, CIG has tried for a long time to justify, for whatever their silly reasons are, wanting to limit ships so that, I don't know, there aren't too many of them. What this week has proven is that they do not do that. I have been successful in getting an Idris. All it did was waste huge amounts of my time by making me play these stupid fucking games.
Yeah, and as we talked about in the time, the way they do it too is a bit convoluted, because you were there at the time. There was two people from the Netherlands trying to do the same thing as you, and they were literally just at a disadvantage because of where they were located globally. So I'm probably in the worst position of that of anyone. If you look on a map, I live in an island called Tasmania. Literally the next stop after me is Antarctica. So I'm about as far from the North American servers as you could possibly get. So yeah, unlucky me in that regard.
Last thing I'll say about that before we get into the CCU thing is, subsequent to the Idris, I also got a Hull E, which is another unreasonably limited ship. They're all unreasonably limited. There's no rationale for it that is defensible. can't change my mind. But
Yeah, no, I
anyway,
agree.
all I wanted was the option to end up with these ships if I
Yeah.
got information in the future, which is severely lacking right now,
Mhm.
about how any of these ships will fit into my desired gameplay. All it is a very high level overview, and I may decide by the time that these ships go flight ready that I do or don't want them, and now they're in my buybacks hangar. But I've had to jump through a bunch of hoops to get to even this point. And
Mm.
what CCU Chaining is about, and as I started to say earlier, not applying your CCUs is keeping your options open. And
Mm.
in our first example here, the Carrack, the that comes to light in the you see down at the bottom the BMM to Orion CCU, the second from the bottom.
Yep.
That was earlier. That was a BMM to 600i, which we know is going to be the Warbond CCU for our Origin Day.
Mm.
Now the Banu Merchantman costs more money than the 600i.
Can I
Or
just say, ironically, I just pulled out a calculator because you can see my screen, so obviously viewers can't see that. But I put out a calculator and I just went, because his total saving here is $225, and I took that from the current price. That actually means from the savings you've made, that put it back to its original Warbond price when it was
yeah,
first concepted, which is how much I paid for it. I paid $350. So with your trickery, you've been able to kind of reverse time, so to speak.
yeah. And so
It's crazy.
by taking advantage of each of these opportunities, and here's the key: you got to organize yourself in a way that you can keep track of them, because this is way too much shit for most people to keep straight in their head. And
Yeah,
the way
for
that
sure.
the hangar is organized, it's just a continuous list in chronological order of everything you bought. So it's not doing you any favors about laying things out. You have to kind of know what ships you want to end up with, and you kind of have to have multiple options available. And then you need to plot a course. And the way we do it is that we know which ships are going to get Warbond CCUs. A lot of the times it's ships that are either very popular or ships that are not yet flight ready. So like when they go flight ready, they'll have a Warbond CCU like the Mercury Star Runner just did.
Mm.
And you kind of build around that. And the key is you're going to buy the cheapest CCU from the next lowest permanently flight ready ship, so that you're doing this in little baby bites. And that's why
Yeah.
there's so many steps. I could have gone directly from a base ship to the to the Carrack or to any of these ships, and I would have saved like maybe 10 or 20 bucks or whatever by buying the one Warbond CCU. But as you can see, by breaking up into as many steps, one, I have an opportunity for savings at each step, and two, when CIG throws me a curveball and suddenly raises the price of the Banu Merchantman higher than what I was going to CCU that into, now I can adjust fire because I haven't applied any of these CCUs, and I can switch over BMM to Orion, Orion to Carrack, and I'm good to go. It doesn't
Yeah.
really upset my plans too much.
So what I was going to say, but there is going to become a tipping point, because there's going to be a point where they either start to double up on these or the price goes up. So that's the other part you got to be aware of, that you're not going to get caught out. So do you actually, like, just for an example, do you have one in buyback? Or like the one I would sit on as well is I would have my top ship. So in your case, I would have one from, say, the Aquila to the Carrack. Just I would have it there in my account, because then if they do a price increase, I guess they're not going to do that on the character, really.
Yeah,
If
they've
the, for
as
example,
far as
if the
I
ship,
know, correct me if I'm wrong, the only ships that have been flight ready that they've raised the price on
yeah,
were the two starters that they just raised the price
yeah,
on when they tried to shoehorn the 100i
yeah.
in.
But the point, I'm trying to make, like, I'm trying to think of more of a ship. So let's take the next one along, the Polaris. That hasn't released. Like, so if you know that that top level is going to go up, that's what I'm trying to get at. I'd try and
Right.
save the top level one, just in
Yeah, so
case
specifically for the
to stop a,
Polaris,
yeah.
I have in my hangar, I have a Hammerhead to Polaris CCU,
Mm.
which I got back last year's IAE when they said that this Polaris CCUs were being discontinued. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Now, not only are they not being discontinued, but we're about in a couple of days we're going to get a Warbond
yeah.
Polaris CCU. So
And I've been talking to some grey market contacts, and they're like expecting the whole market to be flooded with LTI Polarises come RSI day. So yeah, it's probably going to force the price of some of those down again, but then as time passes, they're going to increase again. So yeah, take the opportunity if you can to pick up a Warbond to Polaris. Though they're not LTI, if you have an LTI token, it's easy to get past these days if you know how. All right, so rather going into
that's
these,
kind of all the prep work I was going to talk about. Now we
Yeah.
can go through and look at the chains if you want to.
well, I'm wondering if we can do that, or now we've kind of explained it. Would it be better, because I'm looking at these going, people that are starting to do this today, they're not going to be able to get these because a lot of these include Invictus. So how about what if we instead looked at what someone could do from today? So
Sure.
what
So I
are
would
the
say from today.
Yep.
From today, we didn't know that this was going to happen until it happened, right? They didn't.
Yeah.
They never announced that
Mhm.
in the future we're going to offer discounted Warbond CCUs. They
Yeah.
just did it one day, and then they continued it with the Invictus Flight Week, and they continued it with this IE. So right now there's a trend, and you know, part of analyzing the value proposition of any of these ships, like we do in the Inforunners, is considering trends, and this is a current trend. So if you look at ships that are going to be offered with Warbond discounted CCUs, you can't do what I've done to date. You can start now, and if you don't apply CCUs and you buy the smallest steps possible and break it up into as many steps as you can see where the gaps are in between the CCUs that you own now, and just wait for an opportunity to buy another Warbond CCU or 2 or 10 that fit between those gaps. And if you have enough store credit and you want to kind of protect yourself, like Execute was saying earlier, you can also buy just a regular CCU from point A to point B, from point D to point E, to connect all the dots, and just keep those in your hangar, so that if whatever they announce tomorrow, we're discontinuing CCUs effective in 24 hours, you need to finalize your fleets or whatever, you would be able to actually close the loop. I don't think they're going to do that without warning. In fact, they've said that they wouldn't, but then again, they said they were going to discontinue the Polaris CCU, and we just talked about that.
Yeah. I would also think this would be a good thing for new players as well. So if you were coming into the game and you wanted LTI, you'd probably pick up the Nomad, and I'd probably recommend the combo pack with LTI, and then just go up into one ship that you want. That's if you're prepared to go higher than a starter pack or a Titan, or well, if you get
I guess I should have opened with that.
But that's probably where you'd start.
Opinion that you should not do this crazy shit unless you're already way deep down the rabbit hole like us. You should probably
I would
just
recommend
buy the game package with the starter ship, and if you do anything at all, upgrade your starter ship to an Avenger Titan. Stop.
But if you want LTI, and your only option this year is the Nomad, then you can't get a Titan. I would probably bite the bullet, spend another 20 and go to the Cutlass. But that's just me. But that is a little, so that puts it at like $120. But the way, if you look at it like two $60 games, because it is essentially, if you buy that combo pack, you're getting Star Citizen Squadron 42. It's a better pill to swallow, so to speak. But you will get to try out the game now. The Cutlass is a good shipping game, but $60 is still a lot of money for a game. Well, not really, actually, because the PlayStation games are going up to 70, aren't they? So it's cheap. It's a bargain.
So what else can you say? You mentioned the Warbond, and that's important because that's another dimension to this. People may have joined this game. They may have got a ship that they were excited about, but they may have gotten it with a limited insurance package. And what the Nomad sale is, the currently going on Nomad Warbond CCU will upgrade your limited insurance to lifetime insurance, which it is important to some people. So that's an option that you have right now. You may get that option again. You may not.
I would be recommending it to almost anyone that has a starter pack, but the only problem is, like, a lot of the starter packs that people get recommended is the Titan, and it's the same price, so it kind of stops the people that already have a Titan. But yeah, it's kind of a bit difficult. If I was at a Titan, actually you can't even you can't apply it because it costs the same. I'm just trying to think of a way that you could go up, but there is no way. So yeah, kind of between a rock and a hard place if you've already got a Titan. So
I'm trying to think about what else. I don't know how readable this is going to be on.
Well, the other way we could do it is
you want to zoom in on it a little bit and then go one column at a time?
Yeah, I could probably do that. We haven't done this. We're doing this on the fly, so just be prepared for craziness. All right. Which one am I going? Whoa! Which one am I going in on?
Whoa, not there. Yeah, top left, the Carrick.
Left.
So, what I'll mention too is every one of these chains has a different starting ship, and the reason for that, in my case, is because I've been around long enough. I've collected enough random crap in my buybacks catalog that I have all these random starter ships and vehicles with LTI on them already. So I've just decided to start the war from there, as they say.
I'll let you go through this one, but I actually think we should go through the ones that are just available at this sale, because a lot of this stuff, like the Arrow one, is not available anymore, just because that was available at Invictus. But
sure.
Yeah, go through this one, and then we'll go back and set up one for people.
So yeah, in this sale, I was able to get the Warbond M50 to Freelancer Max for $15 or $10 savings. I got the Mercury Star Runner for $25 savings from the Defender, and I got let's see.
How come you didn't pick up a Terrapin to MSR as well? I would have done both, personally.
I don't know. I think because I already had the Freelancer Mist to Defender from Invictus. I think the Defender was on Warbond then, so I already had it, and I needed to go through that ship as part of the CCU chain. But the same price point, if you were starting from nothing today, there's no reason you couldn't.
So I'm assuming before today you were planning to pick up a Warbond one to abandon Merchantman, but because it's now increased by $100, it's just...
wow, did that throw a wrench in my gear? So obviously I was going to upgrade my brand new Merchantman, which I already had a Warbond discounted CCU from Invictus, and I was going to upgrade, or Alien Day or whatever, I was going to upgrade that to the 600i Touring, which is on Origin Day. Now the brand new Merchantman costs more than that, which is right there. I don't know if we already talked about that, but that's Exhibit A, and why you don't just buy these and then apply them. The whole key to this process is patience. You have to be extremely patient. I might not have any of these CCUs applied for 2, 3, 4 years, depending on how long this process plays out. I might just have to live with the one ship I have, or buy a ship temporarily with my store credit if I really want to have it, or earn it in game. You know, like this is all about the long game. You need to be disciplined and patient.
Well, it's only really been going for 12 months, so hopefully it doesn't take 2 to 3 years, or hopefully. But I have to say I am secretly happy that you didn't get it, because I didn't want you to get Carrick cheap, and then I got it from when it first came out.
I was hoping
that would be blasphemous. You have to pay more than me. It's not fair.
I think though that separate and this is a little speculative, but I think that we're probably. What was the last thing they said, that they're going to make us finalize our fleets by beta or by launch?
Yeah, something like that. So yeah,
one or the other. But I feel like we're probably going to end up in beta in the next 12 to 18 calendar months, based on the progress they've made to this point, and based on what Chris Roberts said in his 2018 keynote about what he considers beta to be.
Now, I'm tempted to open up the store and go through, because even though the deals of the day are not showing up on the pages, you can actually go into the CCU system and the upgrades are still there. Now, I know for a fact the Freelancer one's gone and the Hawk one's gone, but I do know the Mercury Star Runner was there. One was there yesterday, so you can upgrade from any ship to the Mercury Star Runner and save $35. But I'm not sure of the other ones that are there.
Until they get wise to it. Act quickly while supplies last.
So check. Sorry. You'll have to check them all by hand, unfortunately. I could open it and do it here, but that'll extend the video for like 10-15 minutes. But just check on your own. I do know the Mercury Star Runner was there yesterday, but now me saying that, it's probably already gone. I got no idea. We were counting on ones like the Banner Merchantman. The other thing I'd probably recommend is try and recommend to when you jump from a ship, the CCU you want to get is as cheap as possible. So, for example, the Mercury Star Runner is now $260. You probably want to look for a ship that's like, well, there's no ship for $255, but a ship for $250 that you can jump to, or a ship that's available all the time.
The Redeemer, that's a great candidate. That's $250 now. If you buy something to the Redeemer CCU and just keep it in your back pocket. And this is what I mean by that. You have to keep it in your hangar. You can't melt it. Yeah. All of these CCUs have to stay in your hangar, or the price will go up when you try to buy it back from your melt pile.
Or or alternatively, get one that is available every day of the week. So like the Andromeda, because it's already in there. So the one that I can tell you that I do a lot off at the moment is the Mole. Because there was a lot of ships that are at the 350 price point, and the Mole is 315. So I go from the Mole to the ships at 350. And the ships at 350 was the Banded Merchantman, the Crucible, the Endeavor, and blah blah blah. I think the Reclaimer's at 400, but that's a really good one because it's available every day of the week. So yeah, you try and go through ships like that. Constellation Andromeda is another one. The Freelancers are one. The Prospector's one. Cutlass is another one. There's a whole bunch of them that are available all the time. So try and that way, anytime you need an upgrade, you can just buy an upgrade to connect, and boom, 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 at a drop of a hat, you can apply them if you have to. Where if you get something like the Redeemer, you've got to wait till a sale is on to be able to pick up the upgrade, and that may stuff you in the long run. Unless you're happy to sit on one and then melt it and change it as you need it. I hope that we've explained this to the best of our ability. I have not seen a CCU guide video, but I'm hoping that this has kind of explained the process that we try to go through to save people money. It is a little convoluted. It is deliberately convoluted.
It is deliberately convoluted. It shouldn't be a stupid game like buying a hull limited ship is a stupid game, but CIG's marketing is all about stupid games, and you have to play them if you want to get the ships you want. Unfortunately,
but yeah, you can clearly see from what he's done here, and like the Carrack is a really good example. The fact that I pitched for that, 4 or 5 years ago, and I paid $350, and it's now up to $600, and through the savings that he got. By the way, he's now saved another $25 because that's gone up another $25 to $600 now. So he's actually managed to save the $250. It does say $225 there, but it's actually $250 that I saved when I brought it earlier. So by his ingenuity, he's been able to get quite a discount.
And it's just patience and discipline. It's taken me over a year to get to this point, and consequently, I have 5 CCU chains here, and I've got a total savings of $630, which is almost enough for a Perseus. Not that that's a ship I want to buy, but I could if I wanted to with the savings. Or you could debate the philosophy between spending money to save money. I guess that's kind of what I've done.
Well, do you get it cheaper or do you get extra ships? It's entirely up to the person. And I'd say most of us that have already gone down this rabbit hole would probably go, oh, it's a free ship. But like again, if you can kind of save money, then save money. But I
think that's the thing we talked about. Like, most people don't have the money burning a hole in their pocket where they can just drop $27,000 on the complete Invictus pack or whatever. They have to, like, I'm not rich by any means. I have a good job. I'm fortunate to have a good job, but I save a little bit of money, like, every now and then. And I am not necessarily positioned, if they came out with a $1,500 capital ship tomorrow, to just splurge on that. It's much better system for me to do this a little bit at a time. And I think that's probably the situation most people are in. And I'd
agree with that.
By doing it this way, I can spend $10 or $15 or $20 on a CCU, and I can save it for later on.
I think the last thing I'll add is you don't know what CCUs are going to be on discount to the day they're on discount either, and that's what kind of makes this difficult. And so let's say Invictus comes around in 6 months, we can't tell you ahead of time what those upgrades are going to be. So there is a slight gambling element to what you're doing here, and if I was going to protect myself, I would know the ship I'm going for, and I would actually already get all the CCUs in between, and as they came along, I would melt them and then buy them back if they were at a discount Warbond, and that would stop things today like what happened with the Banded Merchantman. That's the only way you can protect from that. Always have them connected, and have not applied, but you have that whole link, every link in the chain, and that way if they spring a surprise on you, you're prepared. That's the only way you can get around it. So, but the problem is that also means, again, you've got more credits tied up in things, so it makes it difficult. All right, if you like this type of content, subscribe, want to go the extra mile, join us on Patreon. If you need help with your fleet, jump on Discord this week. I should have said this earlier in the last video, but I didn't. There's heaps of people on there that are willing to help in the Fix My Fleet channel, or if you think you need extra help, reach out to Osiris, myself, or any other Inforunners, and will help you out. Please let us know in the comments below if this guide was useful. Again, if you do find it confusing, because it is confusing, it is deliberately designed to be that way.
And look, like XQ said, reach out to any of us. We can spend more time breaking it down for you, or you can go to the Fix My Fleet channel in our Discord. There's a lot of people who can help you in the Inforunners community, and that's what we're here for.
That is exactly what I was going to. You took the words straight out of my mouth. We're here to help because we just don't agree the way it's been done.
I want everybody to end up with the ships that they want to have, that they're going to be excited about playing this game.
That's right.
By flying. So
he's been Osiris. I've been Execute. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for Origin Day. Oh, I should just sleep in, shouldn't I?
Yeah, it's not noteworthy. Gonna skip that one.
If only I could.